Our 17-year-old son is on drugs and trashes the RV. What can we do about it? Hey there, Dr. Dave, the RV dummy. I'm going to answer this question and many others in just a couple seconds. Hey there, back with you, Dr. Dave, the RV dummy. And it has been a little while since I have accumulated a bunch of questions from you all. I try my best to answer all questions under the comment section, but a lot of times they just get away from me and I save them. I never ignore them. I save them and try to answer them on an episode. And today I'm going to tell you something. I've got a great episode for you. I'm not sure how long it's going to go. It might be a little bit longer than normal, but stick with me because there are some fantastic questions here today. You don't want to miss any of them. So let's see, without further ado, if you're brand new to me, thanks so much for being here. I urge you to press the subscribe button right down there because you will be privy to getting all new episodes that I publish as soon as possible. And if you enable your notifications, you'll get them right away. You'll be among the first. So I advise you to do that. And again, thanks for being with me. Let's read the first question right here. It says, our 17-year-old son is on drugs and trashes the RV on the weekends that we are not camping. He and his friends mess it up with cigarette butts, marijuana, beer cans, popcorn, food all over the place, etc. Last night, they even blew out a speaker. I'm at my wit's end. RV dummy, can you please help me? Name withheld for privacy reasons. Oh my God, name withheld. This is a terrible situation. I mean, it's not really so much an RV problem. It's a parenting problem. It's a domestic problem in your home. I mean, your son, he's 17 years old, on drugs and trashing your RV. I mean, he needs a swift kick in the butt. I mean, you gotta control this guy. You've got to control. I mean, I know it can be very difficult, and I know addiction, drug use, alcohol use, whatever it might be, is not simple. But you've got to do whatever it takes to get this guy treatment, punish him, whatever it takes. I mean, I would not even give him. How does he get the keys to access your RV? Why do you let him in there? Why do you let him? I wouldn't even let somebody, a 17-year-old son, I wouldn't even let out at night. I'd make sure he's under my control until he shapes up and gets his act together. He needs to be a mature, responsible citizen and human being. And the way he's doing it, he's headed for trouble. It's drugs and trashing the RV. Who knows what it's going to be later? You've got to get him help. If you can't do it yourself, you got to be firm. You got to give him a kick in the butt and tell him you mean business, and he cannot continue his life the way he's doing it. It is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. So yeah, you got to do whatever it takes. This is a horrible situation, and I feel bad for you. But your RV is the least of the problems. I guarantee he's doing other things around the house, outside of the home, that he's getting in trouble for. I guarantee that. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a shrink. I'm not a psychologist. But I've been around the block a lot. I'm pretty experienced in life. And this guy is trouble. He's like a punk. And you've got to get him help. Now, need I say more? Be strong. Do not let your son control you. Be strong and take care of him. He'll thank you in the future. You'll thank yourselves. That is a bad situation. I feel bad. But in the meantime, take the damn keys away from him. Do not allow him to access that RV at all. Do I need to say more than that? Do you get it? I hope so. I feel bad for you. Let's get on to question number 2. It's from Bonnie Burns. RV dummy, you're an inspiration. How in the world do you downsize smartly? I am going from a 12,000 square foot house. What is that, like the Taj Mahal? 12,000 square feet? What are you thinking? I don't know. I've had big houses in my life. I've never had a 12,000 square foot house. It's like a castle. You're going from 12,000 square feet to a park model in beautiful Leesburg, Florida. I was doing good until I got to decorations and pictures. Oh, please share how you and Yoko settled on the little things. Well, Bonnie, we could do a whole video, a whole episode on how Yoko and I have decided to downsize, to minimalize, to get rid of stuff in our life. And we're in the process of doing that right now. And let me tell you something, it feels so good. And we're not experts at it. We're getting, Yoko told me last night, she feels we probably have gotten rid of about 70% of the stuff that we've had. And we still have working on maybe 30%. I'm probably doing a little bit better than Yoko because I just decided I don't need things. I don't need things at all. So how are we doing it? I'm just going through everything I have, and pretty much I'm being very, very, very generous about giving things away, donating, selling, but mostly giving things away. And then some things you just have to put in the trash can. But the toughest things we've found are the sentimental things, the pictures, the things that people have made for us, the cards, just things like that. But you know something? You have to look at them, you have to read them, you have to thank them. We take a card, like a card, somebody sent us a card, we take a card, we look at it, we take a picture, we look at it and say, thank you, this served us well. We might scan it, but then we have to recycle it because you just can't keep everything. You can't do it. And as far as clothes go, getting rid of clothes has been one of the best things I've ever done because it was always maybe stressful is not the right word, but going into my closet and I've got like 55 t-shirts and maybe 20 button-down shirts and different pants. And it was always a struggle, like, what do I wear today? Now I've gotten rid of so much stuff. I keep things so simple. I've got a small pile of t-shirts. I wear a t-shirt almost every day. If I get dressed up, I've got maybe 1 or 2 dress shirts. That's all. I've gotten rid of everything else. If I need to go to a funeral or to a wedding, I'm going to rent a suit. Well, no, I actually kept 1 suit. But I told Yoko last night I'm probably going to get rid of that because I use a suit maybe once every 2 years, and it might be better either to hold on to that or maybe just rent something if I need it because I found the less stuff I have, the less anxiety, the less stress. Life becomes so much simpler. So if there's any question, if there's something you haven't used in 6 months or 8 months or even a year, it's time to go. You can always buy it again if you need to, but it's time to get rid of it. I hope this helps, Bonnie. I mean, we could do a whole episode. I could do it with Yoko. We could and maybe we will because a lot of people are asking us the same question. But I will finish with just saying this: that getting rid of stuff and minimalizing has been one of the best and most powerful things I've done in my life. And I've done a lot of things in my life, but it has really worked well. And along the same lines, getting back to the RV thing, though, that's why it's one of the reasons we have a Class B. We have a Pleasureway XLTS. It's small. It's just big enough for the 2 of us. We don't need a big RV because with a big RV comes more stuff. We just don't want it. Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks so much for the question. Healing from Benzos says, right now, you're my favorite channel, and I've watched thousands of RV videos. Wow, I didn't even know there were that many, but maybe there are a lot. I like your no-nonsense, straightforward talk and dry humor. Do I have dry humor? Is that different than wet humor? I don't. Maybe is my humor dry, or is it wet? I don't know. Thanks for making videos. I'm going full-time in December. Benzo, congratulations. Keep us informed. Let us know how it's going full-time. That is really, really cool, and good luck to you. You're going to do great. Carol Fisher says, not everyone has more than enough money like you, Bud. She calls me Bud. She says, I am 72 and on a fixed income, but I'm trying to prepare for RV living because of my circumstances. What none of us can predict is the future. That's true. But living out the rest of our days in pure misery is not an option. When we have a chance to make some dreams come true, my faith in God has gotten me through hard times, and He will be there with me through all my days. I will not live in fear over a speeding ticket or much else. You are just an overprivileged yuppie hotshot. Oh, God. Where do these come from? I'm an overprivileged yuppie hotshot. Well, yuppie, if I can get this straight, yuppie, the Y stands for young. I'm 64, so I think that disqualifies me. Anyway, so I'm not young. Doesn't yuppie stand for young urban professional? Well, I'm not really an urban kind of guy. I'm not young, and I am professional, I guess. But Carol, let me ask you a question. So you're calling me privileged. I'm just an overprivileged yuppie hotshot. Tell me what the right amount of privilege is. Like, how can I want to know from you how I can avoid being overprivileged. Like, tell me exactly what the right amount of privilege is. And I'll see if I can use that. I appreciate your comments, Carol. No, you're actually wrong. First of all, I've worked extremely hard my entire life. I have invested my money. I've not spent all my money on frivolous things or things that I couldn't afford. That's one of the reasons I'm sitting in a situation right now that I can afford things, because I was very frugal and lived under the radar and below my means for a long time, for many, many, many years. I was not born into a wealthy family. No, I'm not privileged. I'm just a hard worker. That's all it is. And these days, it seems like people take crap for that, because if somebody worked hard all their life, they've made some money, they've invested it well, and now they have enough money to retire, we're looked at as privileged and we're bad people. Well, I don't know. And I also like to give advice to other people. I like people to do what I did, because they can do the same thing. I'm not special. I'm not smarter than anybody else. But here's the thing, Carol. I found that if you spend less money than you make for a long period of time, spend less than you make, don't feel like I'm entitled to these things and God's going to get me through no matter what. I mean, believing in God is totally fine, and God is going to be there for you. But God has never told you that spend more money than you have. I don't think God would ever say that. And I'd like to see that in the Bible somewhere. Spend more than you have. Take loans out. Can't afford it. That's fine. Borrow the money. I'd like to see where it says that in the Bible somewhere. I'm not like a big Bible person either, but I'd love to see that, Carol, because it seems like you are. And I just want to see. I want you to share with me why I'm so overprivileged, because I've tried to do the right thing my whole life. I'd like to know that, Carol. But anyway, thanks for being a subscriber. If you're still with me, you probably quit because you think I'm some overprivileged yuppie. So I don't know what to say. Let's just go to the next question. Randy Neely says, hey, forget Salt Lake. Come to Chico, California, Sierra Nevada beer. Randy, we're in Salt Lake now. We're pretty much establishing our footprint here, but love to come visit Chico, California and treat us to a Sierra Nevada. That would be our pleasure. Thanks so much, Randy. Herbert H. says, RV dummy, do you know if it's possible to lease an RV like it is to lease a car? Well, again, I'm going to preface this with, I am not a financial planner. I know enough about personal finances just because I've studied it all my life, but I'm not like a professional planner. So don't get me wrong, but from what I understand, and I've researched this a lot, is that leasing a car, first, I don't recommend it. I only recommend buying what you can afford and paying cash. If that means all you can afford is a $2,000 car, then for God's sakes, buy the $2,000 car. Don't lease, don't borrow. I know I'm going to catch shit for that. I said a bad word. I really believe in living below your means. So Herbert, even if I've never heard of being able to lease an RV, but even if that's a possibility, and it may be, I just don't check up on things like that. If it's possible to lease, don't ever do that. Leasing a car is the most expensive way to go. Leasing an RV would be ridiculously stupid, especially because in car leases, they cap you at a certain amount of miles per year. And if you go over those miles, you pay out of your pocket for miles driven over. Would you want to be in an RV? This is just a stupid little sidebar, but in an RV that you've got to look at the odometer every second because you're driving you're trying to go on a trip across the country and you can't do it because your miles are capped and you're going to be like every mile you spend is going to be, every mile you drive is going to be like another $1 or something like that. No, don't do. Herbert, buy an RV that you can afford and just pay cash for it, please. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Look back at some of my old, not really old, but previous videos, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Don't lease. Don't take out a loan. And I don't care if you send me comments to say I'm an overprivileged yuppie and entitled. And I don't care if you, because I try to help people, okay? I'm giving you advice that's going to help you. Wolverine 6904 says, what's the difference in miles per gallon on your Class B and Jim's Class C? So I don't know if you realize this. A month or so ago, a few weeks ago, we did it. I did a video with a good friend, Jim. We had our Class B and Class C side by side, and we had a tour of both of them. So he's asking, what's the difference in mileage? Well, I can tell you, in our rig, we get average over time. We average about 14 plus miles per gallon. That's a combination of on the highway. Actually, I take it back. On the highway, we average about 14 to 15. in the city driving, it's going to be a lot less. But say on the highway, 14 to 15 miles a gallon, whereas Jim said he doesn't get nearly that much. I believe Jim said he gets around 9 miles per gallon. It's a much bigger vehicle, heavier, so you're going to pay for that in gas mileage. So Wolverine also says, do you fill up at truck stops? Well, yeah, I love truck stops. I love Love's truck stop, but I love all truck stops. That's where I fill up. But I hope that answered your question, Wolverine. Hope it did. Herbert Webb says, I think it's more of a comment than a says, but I'll read this because it really, really was super important. As a matter of fact, I published his comment in my newsletter that comes out once every 2 weeks. And by the way, if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, it's totally, totally free. It comes out by email once every 2 weeks. I never spam you. I never share your email address. And if you want to unsubscribe, you can just click unsubscribe. So there's no downside to subscribing to this. The way you do it is to go to join.rvdummy.com. I'll see if I can put a little thing right down there. Join.rvdummy.com. It comes out every 2 weeks. People say they love it. I put my heart and soul into it. So love to have you as a subscriber. So Herbert says, Dr. Dave, you have a gem with Yoko. Yoko is my wife if you're new to us here. The idea here is that you are following your heart. Don't stress the details. They'll take care of themselves. You just need to live each day as an adventure and take it as it comes. Just so you know, all days won't be great, but most will. That's great to hear. We started our adventure over 25 years ago when we walked away from a life we thought we wanted. Today, the adventure continues and is ever changing. Many people fit their life in a box. They never take a chance and never know the thrill, the joy, and the happiness and pain of stepping out and trying something new. I love it, and someday we will meet face to face, and I can share our story with you and Yoko. Like you, I would never be able to do this without my wife, Beth. Drive safe, Herb. Herb, thank you so much for that. It was a beautiful note. That's why I published it in my newsletter. And I just want to comment on that congratulations for stepping out of something. You said you thought you were living a life that you would like, but it turned out it wasn't really the life for you. So you totally changed directions, moved somewhere else, and that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, I lived on the East Coast of the U.S. in Maryland for my entire life. Yoko and I love the mountains. We love skiing. We love it here out west. That's why we just said we're going to sell everything we have and just get in our RV, move out west. Our RV and our 2 cars we just brought out west. Our RV is actually still coming out west. It's not out west yet. Steve is driving. He's going to try to do some videos from the RV as he's driving Sireny, which is the name of our RV out west. So look out for those for sure. On this channel, we're going to publish that as soon as he does that. But Herb, thank you so much. And yes, we would love to meet up with you in person at some point, sooner rather than later. Angela McGill says, out west is cool. I'm not thinking Utah is right. That's my opinion. Angela, thanks for saying that. I'm wondering why you think Utah's not right. First of all, have you ever been to Utah? If you step foot into the state of Utah, the beauty, the surroundings, I don't see how anybody could say it's not right. So my guess is you've never been to Utah. That's just my guess. But I'm curious to know why you don't think it's right. Write back and let us know. But anyway, thanks for that. 2 old farts in an RV said, now they commented on a video that I did fairly recently. It's called 10 Things to Tell Your Children as Soon as You Start RVing. It was something like that. It might not be the exact title, but 10 things you need to tell your children. And number 1 was something like, now we raised you for the past so many years. Now it's our turn to have fun, meaning it's the parents' turn to have fun. In response to that, the 2 old farts in an RV said, number 1, really? Really? If one said it the way you just did, the children would think their parents had a miserable time raising them. Well, I didn't really mean it like that, but it is time for us to go have fun. No way makes it sound like the parents had no fun raising the kids. Well, I'm sorry if it made it sound like that. I've got 2 kids. They are now in their 30s. Had a great time raising them. Of course, it's a lot of work. It's difficult. They're in their 30s. They're married. They've got kids. We've got grandkids. But guess what? Yeah, now I'm having fun. Now it's my time to have I want to do the things I want to do without having to worry about parenting. Parenting was great. Sent our kids to schools and colleges and did all the good stuff. But now, guess what? Now it's dad's time to have and mom's time to have a ton of fun every single day. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not going to retract that comment, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I might have come across the wrong way. I loved raising my kids. But now it's my time to have fun. Yeah, it is. Joe Kokinda, I hope I pronounced your name right, Kokinda. Awesome video and great advice, but please fix your audio. It sounds like you're talking on a cell phone in a tunnel. Joe, how did you know? I was exactly talking on my cell phone in a tunnel when I was recording that, or recording that. You totally nailed that. Thanks so much. You got it right. Talking in a tunnel on my cell phone. Susan Wheat asks the question, would you use an RV inspector before taking delivery? Would you have a lawyer look over the contract as you would if you were buying a house? Well, let's take first things first. Would you use an RV inspector? Yes, if you don't know enough about RVs, if it's your first one, if you're buying it used, if you're not sure, because when I bought my first one, I bought it online and never even saw it in person until it came to me. Of course, I saw photos. He did a walkthrough video, but now I know enough to know that I would never do it like that again. I would always want to look at it really carefully. And I know now exactly what to check for. But if it's your first RV, absolutely, I would hire an inspector, pay them whatever they're worth. It might be a few $100. It would probably be the best few $100s you've ever spent, because they're going to catch things if they're wrong that you probably would never catch if it's your first time. So yes, I would do that. That's part one. Part two, would you have a lawyer look over the contract? I don't know. Normally, a contract to buy a vehicle is a fairly simple bill of sale. It shouldn't be much more complex than that. If you're not comfortable reading even a bill of sale, then get somebody to help you if you have to pay an attorney to look at it. But I always have an attorney inspect all legal documents before I put my signature to something. But to buying a vehicle, I never really have, and I don't think it's necessary. They're usually pretty simple bills of sale, not bill of sales, bills of sale. So it's up to you. I would say you don't have to for that. But make sure before you sign, you know exactly what you're signing. Please, please, please. Okay, let's see the number. It's not number. We're not numbering these. The next question is from Nagulu Hatsumi. Nagulu, konnichiwa, Nagulu. He says, good morning, Dave. You and Jim made some good points. Now, he's referring back to the video that Jim and I did. Recently, we were camping together. Same guy that has the Class C. I've got the Class B. You and Jim made some good points. Another reason for obeying the speed limit is fuel consumption. Staying at the speed limit, 55 or 60, increases the range that a vehicle can travel. Absolutely right, Nagalu, absolutely right. In my opinion, the reason for people being in such a hurry these days is a product of our modern society. Society over the last 2 to 3 decades has placed more and more demands on people with shorter and shorter time constraints. It's sad, really. Nagalu, you're so right. I've been driving for, how old am I? I'm 64, so I've been driving 50 years, right? Is that right? Almost 50 years. 48 years to be exact. I'm good in math, 48 years. I can tell you with 100% certainty that over the past decade or so, people have gotten much more aggressive. Everybody's in a hurry. Everybody's passing like crazy, going well over the speed limit. Where are you all going? Why don't you slow your lives down? Take it easy. Why are we all in a hurry? It's just going to raise your blood pressure. It's going to give you a disease. Slow down. Relax. Don't drive so fast. Don't intimidate other people on the road. Enjoy. Look around you. Enjoy and have fun. And yes, Nagulu, like you say, sticking to the speed limit or 55, 60 saves fuel, but it also allows you to have a much better time driving, and it's safer. If I'm going 60 miles an hour, I can stop much better if something happens on the road in front of me than if I'm going 70 or 75. I know that. It's a fact. Okay? Our last question or comment. It's a question from Sourdough Dogs. Our cat's name is Boo Boo, by the way, and Boo Boo travels everywhere with us. So Sourdough Dog says, does Boo Boo get lost in your RV travels? I'm afraid my cat would get lost trying to find her way home. No, Boo Boo is, first of all, Boo Boo is 18 years old plus. He's a senior citizen. He doesn't really go he doesn't try to jump out of the van. And if he gets out, we're right there with him, and we keep him on a harness and a leash, and he doesn't go anywhere. He loves traveling with us. It's like a new part of his life. He had a brother and a sister who passed away within the past year or two. So now he's alone. He's with me and Yoko. He's really enjoying this travel, and it's like almost like another life for him. He's so proud to be part of this whole thing, but he doesn't try to get away. He knows what's good for him. He knows to stick with us. So I want to thank you all for your questions. These were great questions today, great comments. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure you write them down as a comment. I will ultimately see it. I might not answer right away. I might say, hey, this is a good one. I'm going to save this one for the next time I do a Q&A video. So if you don't hear from me right away, that doesn't mean I'm dissing you. It doesn't mean I'm ignoring your question. It just means I like your question, and I'm going to do it, maybe talk about it later, because it's just way too much. These fingers don't type well. They don't type fast enough or accurate enough. And I just rather sit in front of the camera, hang out with you hang out with you and answer some questions and have some fun. And some of the answers I gave, yeah, they're a little bit sarcastic. Yeah, what's another word? I'm looking for another word. There's a word that I can't remember. I can't think of the word, but yeah, I guess when somebody calls me like an overprivileged yuppie, I'm starting to think like, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? Is it like an honor to be poor and not have money and have to borrow money for everything? Is that like an honor? Would you rather me be like that? There's no disgrace in being poor. Let me make sure I say it. There's no disgrace whatsoever in having very little money or no money, as long as you're honest. But in most cases, if you adhere to certain principles, and that is just spending less money than you make. Now, I know it doesn't work for everybody, because some people just can never make enough money to keep afloat. And I feel bad if that's the case, but still, that does not give you a pass to go out and get a loan for something you can't afford. It doesn't give you a pass for that. I'm sorry. I feel bad if you don't have enough money to live on. But don't think that, hey, it's YOLO, what, you only live once, YOLO. You only live once, so I'm going to go out and get a loan and spend and have fun. Screw that. No, that's not. You're not adhering to a really good principle of life if that's the case. And take it any way you want. Call me names. Call me the overprivileged yuppie, which I don't know where she ever got that, but I'm ranting way too much. I'm taking too much of your time, but you love it because you're still here with me, right? So until next time, and by the way, subscribe. I'm Dr. Dave, the RV Dummy. We will see you very, very soon. Probably sooner than you want. Bye.